$437,000. That's how much one specific Roth IRA mistake cost a Vanguard client named in a 2023 case study published by the firm's behavioral research team. She did everything right. She maxed her contributions, she picked low-cost funds, she never panicked during a crash. But she made one quiet decision in her 30s that quietly bled almost $500,000 out of her retirement by age 65. And here's the uncomfortable part. According to Fidelity's 2024 retirement analysis, roughly 60% of Roth IRA holders are making at least one of the same 5 mistakes she made. Most of them have no idea. Hey, I'm Joe, and on this channel we break down the boring money stuff your bank will never explain. Today, I'm walking you through the 5 most expensive Roth IRA mistakes, ranked by how much they actually cost over a lifetime. Stick around for number 2, because that one alone accounts for over $180,000 of that $437,000 figure, and almost nobody talks about it. Let's start with the data, because I want you to understand the scale of what's happening here. The Roth IRA was created in 1997, named after Senator William Roth of Delaware. The idea was simple. You pay taxes on the money now, you put it in the account, and then every dollar of growth, every dividend, every capital gain comes out completely tax-free in retirement. It is, mathematically, one of the best deals the US government has ever offered a regular person. And yet, the Employee Benefit Research Institute released a study in 2023 showing that the average Roth IRA balance for Americans aged 60 to 64 is just $113,000. That's it. After potentially 40 years of contributions, the average person ends up with roughly the cost of a mid-range SUV. Why? Because the Roth has these tiny, almost invisible rules, and breaking even one of them compounds into 6-figure damage over a lifetime. So here's mistake number 1, and it's the most common one I see. Treating the Roth IRA like a savings account. The IRS lets you pull out your contributions, not the growth, but your original contributions, at any time, with no penalty. Sounds great, right? It feels like a safety net. But Vanguard's research team found that about 22% of Roth holders under 40 pull money out at least once before retirement. The average withdrawal is around $4,200. Here's why that's brutal. If you pull $4,200 out at age 30 and you assume a 7% average annual return, which is conservative for the S&P 500 historically, that $4,200 would have grown to roughly $44,000 by age 65. So a $4,200 emergency actually cost you about 40 grand in future use pocket. And here's the part that really stings. Once you pull contributions out, you can't put them back in beyond your annual limit. The contribution room is gone forever. The Roth has a use it or lose it ceiling every single year, and most people don't realize that withdrawing is essentially burning future tax-free space. So why does this matter so much for someone just starting out? Because the dollars you contribute in your 20s and 30s are doing the heaviest lifting in your entire retirement plan. A dollar at age 25 is worth roughly 15 times more at retirement than a dollar contributed at 55. Pulling early money out is like ripping the engine out of a rocket ship that hasn't launched yet. And in just a few minutes, I'm going to show you the specific dollar cost averaging schedule that maximizes your Roth contributions even on an irregular income. It's the same approach used by people who max their accounts every single year without fail. Now here's where it gets weird. Mistake number 2 is the one that cost our Vanguard case study client most of her $437,000. And it's not a withdrawal mistake. It's not a tax mistake. It's a cash mistake. A 2023 study from BlackRock found that nearly 2/3 of new Roth IRA accounts have money sitting in them that was never actually invested. People open the account, they transfer the cash in, and they think they're done. They're not. Opening a Roth IRA is like buying a greenhouse. You still have to plant the seeds. That cash just sits there in a money market settlement fund earning maybe 4 or 5% if you're lucky right now, and historically closer to 1 or 2%. Meanwhile, the actual market, the funds you should have been buying, has averaged around 10% annually since 1957. So let me put real numbers on this. If you contribute $7,000 per year, which is the 2024 limit for 30 years, and that money sits in cash at 2%, you end up with about $284,000. If that same money is invested in a basic total stock market index fund averaging 9%, you end up with around $952,000. That's a $668,000 difference from the exact same contributions. The only variable is whether you actually click the buy button on a fund. Have you ever logged into your retirement account and seen a number that didn't seem to be moving much year after year? That's why. The money isn't doing anything. It's just sitting there in line. The fix takes about 90 seconds. Log in, find the cash balance, pick a broad market index fund, something like a total stock market fund or an S&P 500 fund with an expense ratio under 0.1%, and buy it. Then turn on Auto Invest so future contributions get deployed automatically. Done. Which brings us to mistake number 3. And this one is sneaky because it punishes people for trying to be smart. Holding the wrong assets in your Roth. Here's the principle. Your Roth IRA is the most tax-advantaged account you will ever own. Every dollar of growth inside it is tax-free forever. So you want your highest growth assets in there. The stuff that's going to compound the most aggressively. What I see people do instead is hold bonds, CDs, or super conservative dividend funds in their Roth while keeping their growth stocks in a regular taxable brokerage account. They've got it exactly backwards. A study from Morningstar's tax research team in 2022 calculated what they call asset location efficiency. Their finding was that placing high-growth equities in tax-advantaged accounts and bonds in taxable accounts can add roughly 0.75% in annual returns over a lifetime. That sounds small. But run that over a 40-year career on a maxed-out Roth, and you're looking at an extra $90,000 to $130,000 just from putting the right things in the right buckets. So the rule of thumb. Highest expected growth goes in the Roth. That usually means stock index funds or growth-oriented ETFs. Bonds, CDs, and lower growth assets, if you need them, go in your 400, 1000, or taxable account where the tax treatment matters less or where bonds get tax advantages of their own. Quick pattern check before we move on. So far, you've seen how withdrawing contributions kills compounding, how uninvested cash silently bleeds you out, and how asset location alone can add 6 figures. But the next 2 mistakes are the ones that catch even sophisticated investors. The 4th one specifically traps high earners. And the fifth one is what financial advisors call the silent killer, because you literally cannot see it happening on your statement. Mistake number 4. Missing the Roth conversion window. This one's a little more advanced, so stay with me. The IRS phases out direct Roth contributions once your income gets above a certain level. For 2024, single filers start losing the ability to contribute around $146,000 of modified adjusted gross income, and they're completely cut off at $161,000. Married filing jointly, it's $230,000 to $240,000. So a lot of high earners just give up. They think, well, I make too much, the Roth isn't for me. That's the mistake. There's a perfectly legal strategy called the Backdoor Roth. You contribute to a traditional IRA, which has no income limit on contributions, and then you convert it to a Roth. The IRS has explicitly acknowledged this strategy in published guidance. It's not a loophole, it's just a longer hallway to the same room. The cost of skipping this? Take a high earner, age 35, who could be doing a $7,000 backdoor Roth every year until age 65. At a 7% return, that's about $700,000 of tax-free retirement money they're leaving on the table per spouse. Now, there's a wrinkle called the pro rata rule that you need to understand if you have existing pre-tax IRA balances, because it can create a tax bill. So if you're doing this for the first time, talk to a fee-only fiduciary or a CPA. But the strategy itself is a known, well-documented part of the tax code. And then there's the related conversion window. Anyone at any income can convert traditional IRA money to Roth IRA money in any year. You pay taxes on the conversion now, and then it grows tax-free forever. The smart play is to do conversions in low-income years, a sabbatical year, an early retirement gap year before Social Security kicks in, a year you got laid off. People who do strategic conversions during these windows often save $50,000 to $200,000 in lifetime taxes. Okay, mistake number 5. The silent killer. Letting fees eat your account alive. I want to walk you through a specific piece of research because this is where most people don't believe me until they see the math. There's a researcher named John Bogle, the founder of Vanguard, passed away in 2019, who spent decades documenting what he called the tyranny of compounding costs. Bogle's argument was simple. If the market returns 7% and your fund charges 2% in fees, you don't lose 2/7 of your money. You lose roughly 2/3 of your final balance over a lifetime. That's because fees compound against you the same way returns compound for you. Here's the actual math, which is genuinely shocking the first time you see it. $7,000 a year for 30 years in a fund charging 0.04%. So basically, a Vanguard or Fidelity total market index fund grows to about $945,000. The same $7,000 a year in a fund charging 1.25%, which is a typical actively managed mutual fund or what your bank's wealth advisor might put you in, grows to about $730,000. That's a $215,000 difference for doing literally nothing different except picking a cheaper fund. And the saddest part of Bogle's research, he showed that the high-fee funds, on average, do not outperform the low-cost index funds. You're not paying for better returns, you're just paying. So how do you check this on your own account? Log in, find the funds you own, look up the expense ratio. If anything you own is above 0.20%, ask yourself why. There are S&P 500 index funds available right now at 0.015%. The bar is on the floor. You don't need to be paying anything close to 1%. All right, let's bring it home. The 5 mistakes ranked by lifetime cost. Number 1, using your Roth like a piggy bank, costing roughly $40,000 to $50,000 per emergency withdrawal. Number 2, leaving contributions in cash, which can cost over $600,000 over a career. Number 3, holding low-growth assets in your highest tax-advantaged account, costing roughly $90,000 to $130,000. Number 4, skipping the backdoor Roth as a high earner, leaving up to $700,000 on the table. And number 5, paying high fund fees, quietly siphoning off $200,000 or more over 30 years. Add them up, and you can see how the $437,000 figure from that Vanguard case study isn't just possible. For a lot of people, it's actually conservative. Here's what I want you to walk away with. The Roth IRA is one of the most powerful wealth-building tools that exists for a regular person. Not because of any one magic feature, but because of what tax-free compounding does over a lifetime. Most people don't fail at retirement because they didn't earn enough. They fail because the small, invisible mistakes compounded against them for 40 years. Take 20 minutes this weekend. Log into your Roth. Check 3 things. Is there cash sitting uninvested? What expense ratios are you paying? And are you actually maxing your contribution this year? Those 3 checks alone could be worth 6 figures by the time you retire. If this video helped you see something you didn't know before, do me one favor and hit subscribe. It genuinely helps the channel and tells YouTube to show this stuff to more people who need it. I drop new videos every week breaking down the money topics nobody explains in plain English. I'm Joe. Take care of your future self. They're counting on you. See you in the next one.